Today in Rob's Garage, we're going to do some preventive maintenance here on the Eaton Supercharger that came out of our Range Rover Sport. So I've been following along with our coolant repair series. I'll provide a link to the first video here that shows how to remove the supercharger. What we're going to do today is replace the coupler. We're going to change the oil. You may not realize that there's actual gear oil in the supercharger that needs to be periodically replaced. We're going to reseal the snout back to the supercharger itself, potentially replace the butterfly valve, inspect the bearings, all these things that need to be done, especially while you have it out. It'll help prolong the life of the supercharger. I'm going to show you how to do that maintenance here today. Brought to you by our friends at Superchargers Online. Be sure to check them out. They're sponsoring this video. This work not only applies to Eaton superchargers coming off of the 5.0 liter V8 that we have on this Range Rover and also some Jaguars, but also the 3.0 liter V6 that Jaguar Land Rover has as well. And probably very similar for most Eaton TVS superchargers out there in the market. So it's blazing hot in the summer here. We're going to go in the house and work from the kitchen table. Let's go check it out, guys. Here's our disassembled supercharger. Again, watch video 1 of my coolant repair leak series and you'll see how to take this out. I had to remove this driver's side manifold in order to get to this one bolt on the snout. And here's what we're going to be doing. We've got a gear oil, thanks to Superchargers Online. We've got a series of bolts that we'll use to put the snout back on and also replace the bolts on the back of the gear oil cover. Got a new coupler here, new valve, and a new drain plug, some screws for the valve. In addition, we're going to be using some Loctite 598 RTV gasket maker for reassembling the components, and then Loctite Blue 242 for all the bolts. In terms of tools, there's not a lot you need for this. We've got a torque wrench. I've got a rubber mallet just to tap the snout back on properly. And in terms of sockets, 10 millimeter, we've got a T40 and a 3/16 for the drain plug, as well as a screwdriver for the butterfly valve. And that's really it. We're going to sit here and do it at the table, comfortable space. I'm sure my wife is loving that I'm doing this in our kitchen. Yeah, the first thing we were inspecting on the supercharger is the bearing wear. There's bearings in the snout, there's bearings in the supercharger itself. And basically you're just turning the pulley left and right, turning it, seeing how responsive the gears are in the back of the system. And I'm not really noticing any play at all. The little that I think might be there is most likely coming from the coupler. So I don't think it's the bearing play. I think the coupler itself, we remove this, there's these hubs that go into the coupler. And as you can see on this hub, it's gotten worn down from the coupler itself. The OEM couplers it's got the spring-loaded coupler, and as it continues to wear on there, it kind of creates these grooves. Now, you can replace the shaft here. You can machine it, you can get a new shaft. Superchargers Online does sell them, but according to my conversations with the guys there, it sounds like this is kind of normal wear. And while I have it apart, I could replace it if I needed to replace the bearings, but as I'm testing the bearings, I don't think that they're bad. And I'll show you another test here. If they were bad, then we would likely replace the shaft as well. But as I'm turning this hub, you can see the bearings are extremely responsive. So this seems to be in good shape. I tried to pull the hub forward and back, and I see there's no play. If there's any play forward and back, then likely the bearings in the rear, which are not serviceable, they're hidden back there, they're not serviceable, they would be shot, and basically it's the end of the supercharger. But there's no forward and rear play in terms of left to right. I'm not seeing any play. So we think these bearings are in good shape. We're going to leave them as is and just replace the coupler here with a new one. And that's a really simple process. Take the new coupler and just put it on the hub, like so. Now, that should provide us a little less play. Let's get up in here. We'll try it again. There we go. And yeah, that's even, I'm not feeling any play whatsoever now. nothing. So I think we'll be in good shape just by replacing that coupler. Okay, now inspecting the valve here, it looks like it's in good shape, but I do have a new one that Supercharger Online supplied. Now with the actuator release there, release the tension. Inside here there's a little, I don't even know how to describe this, whatever this is, this piece. All right, there we go. And now I can release the tension to pull out the valve. Slide our new valve in here, and I don't know if it matters. I'm going to try to do the exact same orientation. I just know the old one they pulled out had an F here on the bottom, so I'm going to do the exact same. Slide this in. Got some new screws here. Thank you, Superchargers Online. Okay, it looks like we've got that perfectly. There's no rubbing. So I turn it around, nice and smooth. I just hand tightened it. And we'll put this little collar piece back on. And that, we can then bolt the actuator back on. You have to make sure it's lined up correctly. I don't want to remove it for a risk of not being lined up. Cut a little bit of Loctite on here. Actually, probably way too much Loctite on here. This one just kind of spilled out on us. But we'll torque these down to 102 inch-pounds. We're going to break the bolts on the back of this cover where got access to the gears themselves and where the oil goes. Now, typically, the way this is serviceable to change the oil is you remove this drain bolt here, siphon out the old oil, and insert new oil. Imagine trying to do that while this is in the car with the Composer bolt on the back. Good luck. There's just no room to work, at least not on the Land Rovers. I don't know if Jaguars are any better, but while we have it out, this is the perfect time to service it. This has 125,000 miles, so the oil is going to be really worn. There are 6 bolts and then the drain bolt. We're just going to break them here to get them started, then we'll put a drain pan underneath. Take note of the orientation on these because these are special bolts. It has threads for the Composer to bolt into in the back, so make sure you know where they go. Well, something else you're going to need, another tool you're going to need, I didn't realize earlier, is we use this 3/4 inch ratchet to get in here and help break the seal. So once we moved all the bolts, we knew we'd need to break the seal, but didn't know it'd be so tight. So we got this ratchet and we're able to break it loose right there. Lift it up. Oh. Now we're just cleaning off the surfaces, all the matting surfaces between the cover, the Supercharger. We just want to make sure it's nice and smooth so when we go to reseal it on there, there's no potential leaks happening. You can see there's some leftover RTV on here. We're just trying to get it off. You don't want to use anything harsh. You don't want to sand it. You don't want to use anything that's going to create any grooves or misalignment on the metal. It's nice to be, got to be a nice, flat, smooth surface. Got a clean surface. We probably spent a good half an hour cleaning that up. We're going to put some of this gasket maker on from Loctite. It doesn't come out very easily, but Superchargers Online says this is the best stuff to use for this application. Got our bolts ready to go. Just put this cover on. And we still have the original drain plug in there. We're going to take that off and replace it after we get this on. Let's get these started. We'll torque them down after we get all the bolts in. And now we've got these other special bolts here, some Composer bolts into, and also got some Loctite on all these. These black ones, should have mentioned, brand new bolts came with Loctite. These didn't, so we're gonna put a little on. And now we're gonna torque all these to 19 foot-pounds. And I'm gonna start from the inside and work my way out. I don't know if there's a correct sequence or not, but that's how I'm going to do it. And we'll go outside. A diagonal. The last two outside. These are aluminum. I'm very careful not to over torque them. Okay, now we're going to install the snout. We got a clean surface here, just like we did with the cover on the rear. Put a bead of RTV on there. Not very proud of the bead. Didn't turn out the best, but it's on there. And we'll line up the holes. There we go. We'll start by getting the inside bolt. It's going to be this black one. Okay, we're going to get this started in here. Then we'll get all the other bolts, just so it can hold up there. Oh, we've got Loctite 242 on all of these. Get started by hand. The bottom. Once I get them started by hand. Okay, the last one here. Going around, just going to tighten them down a little bit. We'll torque them after. Torque these down to 19 foot-pounds, just like the rear cover. I'm going to start in the middle and work my way out, kind of diagonally, crisscross, I guess you'd say. Supercharger's not holding still for me. Now the outside. Cool. These are little kids' hands to get in there and get the excess RTV off of the interior of the seam in there. And next we reassembled the manifold and the driver's side. Really pretty simple. 3 bolts there. I torqued them to 19 foot-pounds. Did the same thing with this bolt down here. So there we have it, fully assembled. Let's add new gear oil. Now here's the drain plug. We're going to replace this 3/16 bit. And you'll notice it's got a little rubber O-ring on there. We've got the new oil here, thanks to Superchargers Online. It's 8 ounces. This takes 150 milliliters, which is just a little over 5 ounces. I've got a pharmaceutical syringe here, which we're going to take it out and extract it in. Doing it kind of slow, 10 milliliters at a time, but that's all right. We'll do this 15 times, no problem. This is number 4 already. Till the end there, it got a little difficult to use that syringe. What I did was squeeze the bottle to push the liquid up to the top, and I could extract it out and syringe it in here. And I just torqued the new drain bolt kind of hand tight and a little bit of a, quarter turn or so. I think it's good. I don't know what the torque spec is, but everything's solid. Our Supercharger is rebuilt. We are ready to put it back in the Rover. That'll do it today from Rob's Garage. Thanks for watching. Be sure to like and subscribe. And if you're interested in see how to put the Supercharger back in the vehicle, then be sure to watch for part 2 of our coolant leak repair video where I'll explain how to do that. Lastly, I want to thank Superchargers Online. They're a great resource, great advice, great products. They were so kind to help me through this process. And if you need expert advice on how to rebuild your Supercharger or have them rebuild it for you, or if you're looking for parts for your Supercharger, be sure to check them out. Superchargersonline.com. Thanks, guys. We'll see you on down the road.